Hi, this is Erica Merrill, and I'm the founder of Perfect Legal Video. I'm so excited to have with us today Attorney Nicole Reeves Lavallee. She has a family and real estate law firm in the Worcester area, and she is very generous to come on this show every week and discuss issues that help inform us and save us lots of money in court. And thank you so much for joining us today, Nicole.
Thanks for having me.
You are welcome. So, I'm really excited about today's topic. We're going to be talking about apps that you can use, family apps that you can use to communicate with your ex in regards to your kids. And can you tell us a little bit about these apps and why they're so helpful?
They're extremely helpful because, a lot of times we have the he said, she said, and there's a lot of back and forth, or I didn't get that text message, I didn't get that email. And I mean, how many times have we heard that? Your phone wasn't working, you blocked my number. All of these things keep coming up. This is an app that's going to record all of that. And no, you can't delete them. So it's great. So there's motives to use these apps because it's going to prevent the he said, she said. We're going to be able to look at it and go, yep, that's exactly what it says. And we're going to know who's at fault.
Nothing worse than the he said, she said. And you have to keep really good records. And I know that you say that all the time. That's one of your favorite mantras to your clients. What better way to do that than on an app that's going to save this information for as long as you need it? So, can you tell us what some of these companies are that make these particular apps? What are the good ones?
There's really two of them right now in the market. There's Our Family Wizard, and that is a paid app. And then we have App Close, which is a free one. So those are the two that the court's going to recommend. Those are the ones that the court is always going to bring up and say, hey, do you want to sign up for these apps? Sometimes I've had a judge make an executive decision and say you have a court order that says you need to install these apps and you need to comply with these apps. So certainly sometimes it's a suggestion and sometimes it's a court order, but it allows you to utilize them. And both of them have different traits. But my personal favorite is Our Family Wizard because I think it has more capabilities. I think it has more information and more interface with other people that you can involve.
So, why not just use regular email and text? I mean, I feel like it's a lot of work going back through all that stuff, but I mean, are there other reasons why is it not good in court to use those types of forms of communication to prove your point?
Sometimes it is. Sometimes phones go in the toilet and you've lost all the data. Sometimes you're texting like a crazy person and the texting deletes because you don't have room. And people don't realize this stuff. These things don't stay there forever. They're not on your phone forever. Your applications are actually deleting them things to make room for other stuff. So if you're a texter, you're one of those persons that's always doing this or doing this, I should say. The reality is that's exactly what's going to end up happening is you're going to only go, wait a minute, this only goes back 2 months. Where's the rest of it? And now it's gone. Or better yet, you're going to be the person who goes, Nicole, I printed them out for you. Okay, great. But there's no overlap. There's no dates on them. And so it's really hard for me to authenticate them. So you're running into those problems. In the email world, there was a comment that you somehow deleted, and that's not in the email thread. And now they're both saying that this email isn't true and accurate. So you run into certain problems like that. And that's really what the problem is. And then, God forbid, you want to send a, school report card. You want to send medical reports. You're going to do that over email? I hope not. That would be illegal. You're going to do it over text? You're not going to have the capability of doing it. And then somebody's going to sit there and go, what's this little fine print? I don't know what the doctor said. And you're not going to have any information. So the apps are much better. They're user friendly. They can be used on obviously a computer as well as an iPad and a phone. So you have those better interactions and better capabilities to get more out of them.
So, what are some of the other benefits that you can get? I mean, I've heard that there are apps where it actually tells you if you sound a little angry in your text, and it will actually say, whoa, why don't you use this wording instead? It's less aggressive. Is that the kind of thing that you can expect from those apps?
And that's exactly why I suggest using those apps, because you do have all of those capabilities. You can use this for so many things. You can put in calendar appointments, you can put in doctor's appointments, you can put in doctor's notes, you can put in school report cards, you can put everything in there. And the best thing is it allows you a capability to search for them. So when you're going back, you can search for them. You can see something in a particular thread like you would in an email or text, but you're going to have all of it. You're going to have the good and bad. And so sometimes you'll have somebody talking about something about school, and then they're talking about the house in a completely different thread. But again, you can be able to search for all of those, get all that information, and you can actually run a report that will give you the entire history of everything. So you can keyword search it. There's just so many capabilities. And I specifically like the calendar feature, because look, how many times have you told your ex, we have a doctor's appointment on this date and time? Erica, can you tell me where that appointment is? No, it's on the calendar. Can you tell me what time it is? Can you tell me the address? And so you constantly have this person nagging you, and you're like, dude, one, it's the same doctor we've always gone to, but two, it's in the calendar. So you don't have to respond to it because it's there. And again, they can't delete it. So it's there. You can write on it, and it's canceled if it's canceled, or snow day or something like that. But it gives you so much more flexibility to have a communication with your ex without having to communicate with them. That's the best part. You don't have to pick up the phone. You don't have to talk to them. You don't have to engage them. And the app will send you a notification that says, hey, Erica, you got a message on our Family Wizard. Log in to see your message. And then you look at your message. And again, you can look at it on your phone. You can look at it on your computer and iPad. So all of those things have the capability. So it really allows you to see that. And you're going to be able to see if it's a document, or if it's a calendar entry, or if it's an email, or any of those communications. So certainly we have all of those benefits. More importantly, you can also add your attorney to these threads. So your attorney can start seeing them. So we'll get the notifications, and obviously I'm not going to open them every single time unless you say, hey, Nicole, I really need you to look at this email. But you can also download that chat. You can download that communication to me. You can send it to me, and it will come in a PDF. So it is so many capabilities that are really beneficial. By the way, the judge can also see those texts too.
It's funny you say that, because I remember you mentioning in the past that any text or email that you send out, just pretend that the judge is reading it as well before you hit send. And is that really what you want them to see?
Absolutely. And it does have that tone meter. It will say, hey, you're a little angry. You want to rephrase this? So again, it lets you do that and go, well, maybe I was being a little bitchy. Let me tone that down. Let me do something else. So all of those things are really good capabilities that really help you.
So what are some of the negatives that you see when it comes to these apps?
I think the only real negative is that, and you really have to not let it be a negative, but you have to have a court order if you want to force somebody to do it, because otherwise they're going to go, no, I'm not doing that. And great, you're using the app, you may or may not be spending money on it, and you're sending everything and they're not looking at it, and there's no court order. Obviously that's going to be a huge negative, because you're talking on two different wavelengths. The other kind of negative thing is, you have a court order that says you're supposed to do it, and both of you or one of you says, no, I'm going to do it by email or text. Great. That's going to create problems. One's going to communicate by one method, one's going to communicate by another method, and obviously there's going to lead to confusion. The whole point of this is to eliminate all of the confusion, eliminate all of the hassles, eliminate the he said, she said mentality, and really kind of focuses on what you need to do. So I think those are kind of the negatives. Obviously, there is a cost associated with our Family Wizard, so that is something to look at as well. But I think overall, the issues and the problems are nominal in comparison to the benefits.
I mean, it's nice too, because you don't have to worry about having a fight in the middle of your workday with somebody over a text message. It's like that's one of the things that I don't miss about having someone directly on my phone is that if things are heated or somebody had a disagreement, I can still get my work done.
Absolutely. And I think those are, very, really good points. I think, the problem is all too often, they're knowing how to push your buttons and they're going to keep pushing your buttons. And so again, unless you have that court order, you can't force somebody to do it. I think the other part of it is, people want to use it. And unless you say, hey, look, we will use this until the child turns 18, they think, well, the case settled. So we're doing really well. We don't need to do that. And then you both start not using it because you don't want to renew, right? You don't want to spend the money. Oh, I don't want to do any of that anymore. We're good. Let's do this. Except something goes really south and now you've got no record because you weren't using the app. So again, those are the things that kind of come back to bite you. But, I really think it's a huge benefit.
Now, before we were talking about this, and you said there's two major apps out there that people are using, and you think you said My Family Wizard is the one that has a price to it. How much does it cost, and who pays?
It's Our Family Wizard, and it's about $100 a year. So relatively nominal. Again, the parties are going to decide that would be part of a court order, as you're both going to be responsible for your own cost. Yes, it's a little bit of money, but think about how much time and energy and how happy your attorney will be. I mean, let's be honest. I will be thrilled about this versus you, maybe. But the funny thing is, people don't use it to their full capabilities. Take the tutorials. Use the tutorials. The app close is free, but the app close doesn't have as much benefits and doesn't have as much security and doesn't have all of the meter, the anger meter. That's not there. So you're getting extra benefits by paying the cost. I'm always going to veer somebody to Our Family Wizard, not because I'm getting any benefit from it other than making my life easier. But I think it's a huge benefit to the families, and I haven't had anyone that's used it that said, this isn't worth it.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. And, you just hope that everybody uses it and it makes everyone's life easier. I mean, there are a lot, I think the older your kids get, the more school events there are. I know that we just had a random winter concert at 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:30 in the morning on a weekday. And, there were a lot of parents there, but not everybody was there, even though they do send a lot of emails out about it. It would be helpful. I mean, sometimes I have another parent friends that'll be like, oh, did you see that email? Because they send 10, 20 emails from the school, all these different departments. It's hard to keep track of that. It would be nice if the parents had one place where there's a calendar and then nobody has to miss anything.
Absolutely. And I think, those are always, extremely helpful things. Just again, the fact that you can look at it and you can go, oh, well, that's going to conflict, or no, maybe I can squeeze something in before or after that, depending on what it is, or hey, look, it's really my weekend and I really need to make sure I'm being there, whatever it is. But I think those are highlights. And again, just simple things like, parent teacher conferences, those are going to be on the calendar too. Obviously things for the children at school, their extracurricular activities, because I signed them up in a whole new soccer program and now I have to put in the 12 times that they're playing with soccer, and then, oh wait, there's practices, so I have to put those on the calendar. Again, those capabilities are endless, and the reality is it's so time consuming because you're going to have an ex, no matter who they are, and go, what was that? The non-custodial parent's always going to go, well, can you just give it to me? No, I'm not your secretary. I'm not your wife anymore. Like, those are the things that frustrate every custodial parent, and every non-custodial parent just thinks that they should bow down. And you go, there's a document, it's uploaded, it's on the calendar. Like, I've already done it for you. So there should be no rhyme or reason for you to even ask me this question.
But if they don't read emails that come from the school, they're probably not even going to care about the app. If they're that kind of parent. But I mean, all you can do is put it in there and make it easy for everyone and I guess hope for the best, right?
Well,
Unless you have a court order, right? I mean,
and I think that's the best thing. Even if you have a court order and they choose not to look at it and they don't show up, at some point somebody's going to file a modification. They're going to say, "I want more parenting time," and you're going to go, "Wait a minute. All of these things were on the calendar. Not once has he shown up to it. Not once has he participated. Not once has he done this stuff." So that can also help you, even if they're ignoring you, because the reality is, again, depending on what's going on with Sally, you can certainly help your child by supporting the position that, look, you haven't taken any interest in her, or your interest has only been on these days and these times, and that's it. So it gives you a means to support yourself and to support your case later on.
I mean, I think this has been very helpful. And for those of you that are not using an app right now, it could be a great thing to try. And also, if you have questions about your family law case, do not hesitate to call Nicole and her team because they are fantastic. They're very knowledgeable, they're empathetic, but they are also going to give it to you straight. It's not about just hand holding and coddling you. It's about saying, "Hey, that's not realistic," and this, let's try it this way, and let's try to find out how we can get the most fair and the best outcome for you. And so, absolutely give them a call. Nicole, I want to thank you so much for coming on here today. This has been very educational as usual, and I'm really looking forward to see what we're going to be talking about next week.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Have a great weekend, everyone.